Good Wednesday morning. Boomer's out the rest of the week. He is down in the Dominican Republic golfing with his best buddies, so hopefully he's recharging that battery and thinking about Patrick Kane and talking to his friends about Patrick Kane and the New York Rangers and them chasing a cup as opposed to sitting next to me and cutting off every other thought I had with Patrick Kane thoughts. So our thoughts are with Boomer. In the Dominican Republic talking hockey with his buddies. And, of course, that means Jerry Recco is here. Good morning, Jerry. How are you?
I'm good. What's going on, G?
Well, what's going on is, before we get to this football stuff that happened yesterday, it was very interesting. We've got our pre-sale for the live show happening in 2 hours.
Nice. Very
so
cool.
This is now happening. So I'm so excited for this because this is the first time we have ever done anything like it. And I know that we just announced it last week and we've been ramping up, but this is it. This is when you get the tickets for the pre-sale this morning. And that pre-sale code, by the way, which you're going to need is neurovirus. So the pre-sale is today at 8 a.m. And if you go to WFAN.com/live, you'll be able to see all of that, how you get there, the link to the tickets, and all of it. So it's Friday, April 7th, White Eagle Hall, Jersey City. It will not be on the air. On stage, uncensored. We're going to have a great time. I'm sure a few drinks as well. And we got a whole bunch of great stuff planned. And we're all going to be there. And you get VIP tickets if you want, priority seating, private bar, commemorative items, meet and greet with us. And then also just the general ticket is available as well. And a portion of the proceeds, of course, going to Boomer Esiason Foundation. So pre-sale today. Neurovirus is the code, 8 a.m., then the general on sale in a couple of days on Friday. So make sure that you are there, you're refreshing, you're getting in on the pre-sale so you don't miss out on all of that. And the next thing you know, we're going to be there at White Eagle Hall on Friday.
And it'll be springtime.
Just like that.
How about that?
It probably won't be springtime. It'll probably still be freezing and will be miserable. But
one can dream.
Yes, one can dream is right. All right, so a couple of things yesterday with the quarterback
Patrick
stuff.
Patrick Kane. No.
No!
Oh.
Yeah. I feel like Boomer's been out a couple of times now.
Yes. Kyrie, Durant.
Yeah.
And now Patrick Kane, who we've known for weeks, well, at least about a week, we've known this was going to happen.
Exactly.
But it is funny how it happens when he's off.
Yeah, those are two big things that he really wanted to talk about.
Any truth that the Jets will acquire Aaron Rodgers tomorrow?
Oh, that's you know that's going to happen. You know that's going to happen when he is not, or they sign Derek Carr, whatever the Jets quarterback situation is. It's going to be resolved when Boomer is down in Casa de Campo, hitting golf balls next to the the Atlantic Ocean. All right. So there is an Aaron Rodgers podcast that's coming out. CeeLo's going to have a little piece of that because the whole thing didn't drop. He'll have a little piece of that in his update. And, of course, we don't know, what the hell he's thinking or what the hell he's doing at this point. He hasn't even spoken to the Packers. As a Packers GM yesterday said they've only had a couple of text messages back and forth. So that thing is still developing. And then I saw on TMZ Sports this morning, he's out in Aspen, Colorado, and he's bouncing around with some friends, and he's playing Pop-A-Shot, and he's playing skee ball. It's just amazing to me that you're in the woods and this darkness is creating. The first thing you do when you come out is play skee ball.
Yeah.
I mean, he's all over the map at this point. So we don't know exactly what's going on with that. But Joe Douglas did speak yesterday, and I know that he's got to say these things, but the problem is I know that he believes them about Zach Wilson, and that is a problem. As he says, our thoughts about Zach haven't changed, and they want to keep him around. And I've heard Boomer for a week and a half now talking about how the Jets are not giving up on Zach Wilson. They're going to have him on the roster. He's going to be on this team next year, and I know that giving up on a guy with talent this early could burn you, but in this particular situation, they have to cut bait. They have to, because him being on this roster next year, there's two ways that he can be on the roster. He's not going to start right away because there's going to be a veteran quarterback there. So one is either he's going to be the backup, or two, he's going to be deactivated every single week, and he's just going to stand there on the sideline with the clipboard and the headset and everything else, which I think, to me, is what should happen. But will that happen? Will they lose him if that's the case? So you are now in this critical situation where you have to make the playoffs, or maybe there's another regime change. The owner has been outspoken about how this has to happen. Critical juncture in this team's current development and rebuild, and you're one injury away from Zach Wilson coming in and playing quarterback again with a team that can't stand him.
Yeah, and where they go for a quarterback, I think, dictates what they do with him. Because if it is Aaron Rodgers, I think he stays. And I think he is the backup quarterback. And if it's Derek Carr, I think he's got to go because you can't have Carr signing for 3, 4, 5 years. And I think probably more the latter than the earlier. But if he signs for 4 or 5 years here, and watching Joe Douglas talk yesterday, it's not just listening to him, like watching him with the media yesterday, I get the sense Derek Carr is probably more likely than Aaron Rodgers. And I think a lot of people probably thought that, but I didn't until I watched him talk about him yesterday. Really seems like they had some good conversations, was excited to meet with him again at some point this week. But if Carr's here, Wilson can't be because it's the end.
Yeah.
But if Rodgers comes here, it makes all the sense in the world that Zach Wilson sits around, learns. They have a previous relationship together, and I think he probably is the backup quarterback. Because here's the thing. If Aaron Rodgers is your quarterback and he goes down, you're not winning anyway. No matter who the backup quarterback is.
See, I disagree with that because think about, so last year the Jets they won games with Zach Wilson. He was terrible in football games, and they won games with Zach Wilson. He was the worst quarterback I'd ever seen, and they lost on a punt return in that New England game. You just needed slightly good, competent quarterback play, just the average quarterback play, and they would have won 4 more games.
You're talking about winning games. I'm talking about winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but getting to the playoffs would be a huge deal for the Jets because it's the longest drought in the NFL right now when it comes to making the playoffs. So if you just get into the playoffs, that is a major step forward for the organization. And if you're saying, all right, we got screwed because of an injury, but still you overcame that and got into the playoffs, you took a step forward, and now there's going to be another step next year, that's better than just spinning your wheels in the mud and going nowhere. So he cannot play at all next year for the Jets. Unless it's a complete emergency situation where 2 guys in front of him end up getting hurt, and that's the only option that they have left.
All right, so here's devil's advocate. He is the backup quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is here. Rodgers gets hurt week 9. Week 9 would take you into October, November. He's had almost a full calendar year, about 8 months with Aaron Rodgers as his mentor. If he ain't ready to play then, he's never going to be ready. At least you know.
Yeah. Well, see, I feel like I know already. And I know that anything is possible. And we can go with examples of guys who have turned it around. And then I can give you 10 more examples of guys who have not. But for me, and what I've seen, I think most of the fan base has seen.
With you.
I don't need to see anymore.
We go back to the conversations we had when they drafted him that I never understood.
Exactly.
I understand completely. I'm just trying to give you a perspective that I could see him being the backup quarterback and why they would choose to go that route where you don't expect him to play. But if he had to, given what he had learned under Aaron Rodgers, if Rodgers is here, it makes sense to me. Any other scenario, it does not make sense to me.
Yeah, and I understand that they had a previous relationship, Aaron Rodgers and Zach Wilson, and they have texted. But if Aaron Rodgers comes here, he does not give a crap about Zach Wilson's career. Now, maybe just watching him, Zach watching Aaron Rodgers, might be a good thing for him. But at the same time, Aaron Rodgers at a point in his career where he does things his way. He's one of the few people that can do it his way and get away with it. I don't even know if that's going to be the greatest influence on him. Because
depending upon how he is, if he was here. Yeah. He could be the type of guy that he's kind of out of Green Bay as much as he says he loves the Packers, and I'm sure he does. But it's routine. It's monotonous. This could, energize him in a certain way where it's new faces, new building, new organization. God darn, if I ever won here, that would be something. Yeah. You never know.
Yeah, and I don't think he looks at the Jets like we look at the Jets. I don't know if he's one of those guys. Like, LeBron knows the history of the NBA very, very well. And that was part of the reason why he wanted to go to the Lakers, other than the fact that it has production company in Hollywood and everything else. But I think that putting on that Lakers jersey to him was something that was very, very important. So I don't think Aaron Rodgers surveys the league in that way and is like, if I got a championship with the New York Jets and that starved fan base, that would elevate my profile. I don't even think he thinks in those terms at all.
I think any football fan should know that at this point.
Yeah, I know. He probably knows it, but does he care? I don't think that's something that is important to him. Like, if I win there, it's going to be more impactful to my legacy than if I win somewhere else. I think that he would go to the Jets if he wanted to continue to play, because he would want to prove to the Green Bay Packers and his detractors that if he had the right guys around him again, that he could be the best quarterback in football for at least one more year.
Well, I'll tell you this, listening and watching Gutenkunst yesterday, watching body language, listening to the questions and the answers, I mean, it certainly sounds like they've made their decision that they want Jordan Love to be the quarterback.
Well, he's gone.
He said all the right things in that, listen, hey, whatever Aaron decides, that's fine, and they need to know soon, obviously. But, man, when the reporter asked if Jordan Love is ready, it was, he's ready. He's more than ready.
Yeah.
Like, let's go.
Well, it's been 3 full years now, right?
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, 3 full years that he's been sitting. Yeah, I don't see Aaron Rodgers going back to the Packers. To me, it's either retirement or it's another team. But there is that interesting element of this where what if he is dead set on coming back to the Green Bay Packers, and that's the thing that he took from this offseason, and he needs to finish his career in that uniform, and they don't want him there. And that's the issue that happened with Brett Favre. And Brett Favre wanted to go back and play for the Packers, and they said, no, we're done with you. We're going with Aaron Rodgers at this point. Then what happens?
I do think it's a little different, though, because Favre was jerking them around sometimes into the summer, if you remember.
Well, that's what Rodgers has been doing here, though.
Not into the summer. I mean, you're going to know in the next couple of days he's going to make the decision. I think he will. I mean, you're at a point where if you're the organization, I think they'll make the decision then. If he's not going to tell them in the next week or so when all the action starts, then I think they make that decision somehow, some way. They have to. You kind of nudge them along, and they went through it already one time. That's why I think this is a little bit different. Rodgers has been a pain in the ass, I agree, but not to the Favre degree. I mean, Favre was really, I want to come back. I'm not sure I want to come back. And then you're sitting there in June and July. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'm back.
It's close. It's close, though, man.
I don't think it's there yet.
I mean, this guy's doing podcasts where he's talking about right now. I mean, we're sitting here. It's March 1st, and he did a podcast that we'll hear the whole thing yesterday talking about what does it look like if I retire? What does it look like if I continue to play?
But isn't that a smart little tease they give you?
Yeah, of course. Of course it is. Now, I don't think that he's going to make his decision on this podcast, and we're going to find out. But there'll probably be a little bit more context to that clip that they put out there. And this is not the Pat McAfee show. This is a guy that is, I guess, his guru, that is someone who got him to do the Panchakarma cleanse and got him to do the ayahuasca and got him to do the darkness retreat, whatever his name
Listen to what you just said.
Yeah, what is his name there? I know. What's his name, this guy, Al? I forget again. It's something Marcus. I forget what the hell it is.
Aubrey Marcus.
Aubrey Marcus is this guy's name. He did a podcast with him last year where he detailed the ayahuasca experience.
Oh, and his dead relatives,
right. And the hands on him and everything else. So
right.
This is not a new thing. This is a relationship that he's had with this guy. So hopefully Aaron Rodgers at least understands that there are teams out there that need an answer.
I will tell you, there are very few podcasts that I do look forward to listening to. This is one. And I'd like to actually watch it, too, because I know there's a video clip that you showed me.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch it than listen to it, because I think you get a lot out of the facial expressions and the way questions are asked. Interesting.
There's going to be a lot of weird stuff, though, in there.
You think?
But are you looking for football stuff, or are you looking for everything?
I'm fascinated by how just out there he is. And I think to each his own. If you want to be doing these cleanses and darkness retreats and searching inward, I think that's great. Good for you. Wonderful. I think it's fascinating to watch it and hear it, though.
Yeah, I wonder, there's some people that get philosophical who are not super rich, but I feel like there's a lot of people who get to this status of wealth that are also of the West Coast mentality, like Aaron Rodgers is, that are searching for answers that don't exist because and it's perfect that you're sitting here today because like there's the reality of what life is. To them, they don't want to accept.
Correct. They're looking for more meaning.
And it may not be there. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to sit here and definitively tell you that it's not there, but it may not be there. For me, I'm not searching for more meaning. I have an idea of what's going on. I feel like I understand the vastness of the cosmos and how we fit in there, and you just try to be happy every single day while you're on this planet, things like that. But I think that when you're Aaron Rodgers and you've achieved so much and you've got all the money in the world and
not married, no family.
Right, exactly. So there's a lot of time that you can spend by yourself, and you think that you go down these paths because you're thinking, is this really it? Is this really it?
Yes.
But he doesn't want to accept that.
And I'm not picking on you at all, but Al, you as someone that doesn't have children, Eddie too, but you're married, you're at least living with your wife, whereas your girlfriend lives somewhere else. You really spend a lot of time alone.
Yes.
How many times in the course of a week do you sit there and wonder, is it? You have a lot of time to think.
Come up, sure.
Yeah. I mean, whereas we're running around left and right, next thing you know, 6 months goes by. It's like, wow, what the hell just happened?
Well, yeah, like this week with the wife and kids gone, a lot of thinking.
It's a great example.
A lot of thinking.
You're living like a single person this week. And Aaron Rodgers, I know he's had a girlfriend, numerous ones.
Right.
But well, good for him.
Yeah.
I would certainly think that it comes up and goes through his mind a lot.
Yeah. So that's where I believe he is. Like, we're talking, he's so complicated. He's this. He sees the world in a different way. I don't really think it's all that deep. I just think that he's got a lot of time in his hands, a lot of money, and he's got an inquisitive mind, and he's trying to search for more meaning in life, and he's trying whatever the hell is out there. Mm-hmm. And quite frankly, I think it's sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy or confirmation bias. Like, he comes out of these things, and he says, I found what I was looking for with the ayahuasca, and I had this, and even in this little tease of this podcast that comes out today, he's like, I went in there to find out more about myself, and I did find it. Like, did you really? Or did, if you came out of there and was like, this is the dumbest thing I ever did in my life, you'd look like an idiot.
And he's not going to admit that.
He's not going to admit that.
And his opinion and thought could change with one little circumstance on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Really.
Think about the combination if it is Aaron Rodgers and Zach Wilson in that quarterback room. Think about this. I mean,
dad and son.
Oh, my God. Just such a weird dynamic that would be.
Well, I mean, is it any different than what Brady's dealt with the last couple of years? I don't even know who the hell was the backup quarterback in Tampa. I'm not even sure. But you got a 45-year-old guy. If not the quarterback, just think of the 20-year-olds that are in the room, that are in that locker, the 21-year-old rookies. I mean, he's 45.
Yeah, but I mean, it's more the personality that I'm talking about, because I think Brady still has that same mentality of a guy who wanted to win when he's 25, he's 35, he's 45. Aaron Rodgers is on the spiritual journey every day of his life. Zach Wilson is just a complete mess. Came from Utah and all the stuff that we talk about, gets spit out here. His teammates hate him. He's just like this pretty boy guy who's got nothing going on for him right now. And the combination of those two personalities together would be fascinating.
It'd be fun.
It would be, but I don't think Zach Wilson should be on the team in any way, shape, or form.
I want an Aaron Rodgers press conference in New York every week.
Yeah,
that's what I want.
And I think he would handle it well. I know people
think
he
would.
I mean, I know Tiki was adamant about that. I mean, I think if there's one guy who could handle it, it's him, because he's been through this his entire career. And I know he seems sensitive about it, but he's not really. He just likes to fight back. He just likes to give his opinion.
He's very combative.
Do you think that is? And same thing with Kevin Durant. Is Kevin Durant sensitive, or is Kevin Durant just fighting back because he has the platform to do so?
I think the latter.
Yeah,
I don't think he's sensitive. I think he, instead of sitting there and just sweeping stuff under the rug, why be a doormat?
Yeah.
Let's go. You want to battle? Let's battle.
And that's what I think Aaron Rodgers is as well. And he wants to make sure that people know that this information is not correct. And I'm sitting here telling you this information is correct. Mm-hmm. So that to me is not sensitive. It's just him taking control of what people are saying.
And then if they get Derek Carr, he'll cry when they lose.
I know he definitely will. You're not kidding, because he will. He
has.
He will. He did.
Yeah.
Man, and I know he would work his ass off, and I don't want to take that away from him.
Joe Douglas gushed about his work ethic yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be tough when you talk to this guy, meaning Joe Douglas talking to Derek Carr, and you know that he's ready and he got unceremoniously dumped by the Raiders, and he's ready to go in this next phase of his career, but you're still waiting on...
Listening to Douglas, I got the sense if Aaron Rodgers wasn't out there as a possibility, this would be done already.
Yeah. I mean, I would think that Derek Carr would like the Jets possibility as well, and that being his top option, I would think.